Good morning, I'm Gordon Dupont with a special ABC News report. The 83-year-old diary of a Lithuanian Jewish teenager was recovered from Vilna in Lithuania just last week. Yitzhak Rudashevsky was 13 years old when the German army conquered Vilna in June 1941. His diary, a small notebook of around 200 pages, was written in Yiddish and documented the misery of life in concentration camps. When the Vilna ghetto was evacuated, the Rudashevsky family went into hiding. Around 2 weeks later, they were discovered, and Yitzhak, along with thousands of other Jews, were executed in a mass shooting that took place in nearby Burnley Forest. Only one member escaped, Sarah Voroshin, Yitzhak's cousin, who gathered this information. Yitzhak's diary was donated to the Yivor Institute for Jewish Research in New York, where his close relatives. Live there is American correspondent Madong Siok. Dong, before we go into the artifact, can you give an overview of the Holocaust for Australian readers?
Thanks, Gordon. The Holocaust was the systematic persecution of European Jews during World War II. Between 1941 and 1945, about 6 million Jews across 23 countries, including Germany, Poland, France, and Lithuania, were murdered by Nazi Germany and the Axis powers. The Holocaust campaign had 4 stages: vilification, discrimination, separation, and extermination, which will be explained by head historian Royce Funk at the Institute. Professor.
Yes, Don. Gordon. Vilification is where anti-Semitic ideas were propagated throughout Nazi Germany. Jews were scapegoated for the problems in Germany. Anti-Jewish propaganda was headed by Joseph Goebbels, Minister for Nazi Propaganda. These were used by the government to teach Germans to despise Jews. Next was discrimination, where anti-Semitism manifested discriminatory policies such as forced identification, in which Jews were forced to wear star badges to be easily identified, and Nuremberg laws that stripped Jews of their citizenship and prohibited marriage between Jews and non-Jews. Separation followed, where these ghettos became more numerous, especially in Eastern Europe, with significant ones such as the Vilna Ghetto. Over 1,000 ghettos were set up throughout Nazi-occupied territories, and the Jewish containment within them was more restrictive and overcrowded. Finally, extermination. The final stage of the Holocaust involved the systematic mass murder of Jews using hydrogen cyanide gas chambers, mass shootings performed by the Einstein-Gruppen, or through sheer neglect in labor camps, impacting Jewish communities everywhere.
Can you tell me what's in the diary that relates to these 4 stages, and what is told about the experiences of Jews living through these stages?
The first entry of the journal aligns with the month Vilna was conquered, June 1941, during the separation stage of the Holocaust. His first diary entry describes him walking up to the ghetto gates and describes the overcrowdedness in great detail. When the surviving Jews got used to the new conditions, Yitzhak took more responsibilities on, like cooking, cleaning, and was only allowed to meet his parents in the evenings. Children in this time were taught to smuggle food and other items into the ghetto in order to survive. This shows the complete lack of care the Nazis took in the logistics and organization of the Jewish living spaces. What's interesting in these first sources is that they never directed anger towards the Nazis, suggesting that either Yitzhak was unaware of who was holding him captive, being so young at the time, or he was holding out hope that they would be freed. The final entry of his diary is a poem, written in April of 1943. It describes his mind as water and the writings of the residue that it leaves behind, despite resistance. There are references to armies and fighting, alluding to the current war and the sizable gap between this final melancholy entry and the date when the Vilna ghetto was evacuated, on September 23, 1943.
How do we know all this about him? What's the evidence of the diary and his own struggles and emotions in the ghetto?
Well, Gordon, there is a translated quote from the Yitzhak's diary, and it tells us about his first-hand struggles and experiences. He says, "I only feel that I'm terribly weary, and I feel that an insult, a hurt, is burning inside me. I feel that I've been robbed. My freedom is being robbed from me, my home, and the familiar Vilna streets I love so much. I've been cut off from all that is dear and precious to me."
What do you believe the motive behind Yitzhak's writing of the diary was, and who were the intended audiences?
Yitzhak likely produced his diary like others sharing his circumstances because he wanted to leave behind a testimony and to lessen his loneliness. However, his meticulous documentation of ghetto experiences and daily struggles suggests that he may have been leaving them for the future, like so many other of his projects. This adds to the idea that it is a reliable source, increasing its value to us.
How is Yitzhak's diary important to historians, and what different light does his diary shed on the Jews' plight in the ghettos? What struggles does Yitzhak account for in his diary?
The source's importance is difficult to overstate. Despite the wealth of sources of information that we have about the Holocaust, nearly all of it is Nazi accounts and statistics that we cannot rely on to give accurate and unbiased insight into the lives of the Jews, meaning that artifacts like this diary are crucial for the historical community, used as evidence to support historical interpretations of past events.
Exactly. This diary so far are consistent in detail to other verified records and accounts, meaning that new details that are uncovered about Yitzhak's daily life and personal struggles are very likely to be accurate. Personal perspectives are extremely valuable as it adds depth and humanity to events that we usually piece together using statistics and impersonal sources.
Thank you for your time, Professor. Gordon.
So, Yitzhak Rudashevsky's diary from during the Holocaust has a lot of importance to history and helps us understand from a first-hand view of what happened in Nazi ghettos. The diary sheds light on thoughts and emotions of a young boy caught up in an event so calamitous that the effects are still felt today. I'm Gordon Dupont, and this is ABC News.